In section 1.6, we're going to talk about subtracting integers. The rule the book uses for subtracting integers is we are going to add the opposite. Okay, the shortcut that I use, or the little saying I like to use instead of add the opposite, is keep, change, change. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep in mind, okay, that we're going to do keep, change, change. So on A, if I want to use add the opposite or keep, change, change, I'm going to keep this first number the same. I'm going to change this subtraction sign to an addition sign, and I'm going to change this 6 to its opposite. So it's a positive 6 to negative 6, and then I would go ahead and use our rules from yesterday with adding integers. Okay, so on the next one, I'm going to keep, change, change. So keep the first one, change that minus sign to a plus sign, change that negative 8 to the positive 8, and I get 11. So this only works for subtraction, so the key thing I'm looking for is the subtraction sign to begin with. So that as a subtraction sign, so I'm going to keep the first one the same. I'm going to change the middle sign to a plus, and I'm going to change this positive 4 to a negative 4. And then I add that, and I get negative 11. So next one, I'm going to keep, change, change. So keep the first one, change that minus sign to a plus sign, change that negative 13 to a positive 13, and then use my rules from yesterday. And I get 12. So to continue on, I would go ahead and keep this first one the same. I would change this minus sign to a plus sign and change this 13 to a negative 13, and I would get negative 7. Keep, change, change, change. And I get negative 16, and then to finish up, keep, change, change. I get a positive 10. Now on example 2 here, especially with negatives, I would make sure you get all your substitutions correct. So that y is going to change into a negative 14, and this is my new problem. This y is going to change into a negative 14, so I write 25 minus negative 14. And then this y is going to change to a negative 14. And then this y is going to change into a negative 14. All of these are subtraction problems, so I can keep, change, change. So I keep, I change, and I change. And I get negative 17. So on the next one, I'm going to do the shortcut here. So I'm going to keep, I'm going to change, and I'm going to change. So 25 plus positive 14 is 39. On the next one, I'm going to keep, I'm going to change that to a plus and change this 10 to a negative, and I get negative 24. And then I'm going to keep, change, change, and I get 5. Okay, so make sure your substitutions, the ones that are maybe a little trickier, B and D, where you got to have that double sign in there. All right, where you can use subtracting integers is to find a change in elevation or a change in temperature. So how I find a change in elevation or a change in temperature, I'm going to take the final value minus the original value. So in letter A, it says find the change in temperature. It says from negative 45 to negative 80. So this is the original, and this is the final. So up here, it tells me to do final minus original. So I'm going to do negative 80 minus negative 45. And then I can keep, change, change. And then I would end up with negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So that means it went down 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So it went from negative 2 degrees Celsius to 15. So this is your original, this is your final. So once again up here, I'm going to do the final 15 minus the original, which is negative 2. And then I can keep, change, change, and I get 17 degrees Celsius. So that went up 17. It says from 32 to negative 10. So this is your original and this is your final. So once again up here, I'm going to do final minus original. So final, negative 10, minus the original, 32. And then I can keep, change, change. And then I would have negative 42 degrees Fahrenheit. So it went down 42 degrees. Okay, last one, a change in elevation problem. It says find the change in elevation of a diver who descends to negative 52 feet from 37. So this is going to be my final value, and this is going to be my original value. Okay, just like it says up above, I'm going to do the final minus the original. So the final is going to be negative 52 minus the original is going to be negative 37. Then I can keep, change, change, and then I would end up with negative 15. Okay, so the key thing on today's lesson is if the problem begins as a subtraction problem, such as 6 minus 17, I'm going to do keep, change, change. But if it begins as an addition problem, 6 plus negative 17, I'm not going to do keep, change, change. Keep, change, change only works when I have a subtraction problem.